Yo, it's your boy eBay Fight Predictions in the building. I'll be breaking down Marc Diakiese versus Rafael Alves. I didn't know if I was gonna break this fight down, but you know what? I actually really like it. I think it's a fun fight. I think it's probably one of the better fights. I think probably the third best fight on this card for Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez. I did somewhat of a breakdown on this. Obviously, I'm not going to show the tape, but I watched a lot of fights going into this matchup, and I like it. I like it a lot for both guys, and it's a good turnaround. Both guys are really good. They just lost to way better competition, and they have fun fight styles. And yeah, man, let's get to it, man. In terms of the rankings, both guys are unranked. Marc Diakiese comes in a record of 14-4. Fights at a well, he's not fighting at it. I think he's an American top team guy. He's from England, but he's fighting out of Florida. Age 28, a height of 5'10", and reached 73. Rafael Alves, 19-10, which isn't necessarily the best record in the world. He's from Brazil, but he's also fighting out of Florida. He does fight with MMA Masters. A height of 5'8", and a reach 68. Really fun fight here, y'all. Really fun fight. I think you got American top team versus MMA Masters. We've seen this happen before when they did Ponzinibbio and Miguel Beza, and that ended up being a banger. And I think we're gonna have another banger here when you have these kind of like gym rivalries. Obviously, American Top Team has won that little gym rivalry. Obviously you see the success with their gym. MMA Masters, they're still figuring it out. They don't have a lot of money going into them, unlike American Top Team, so it's a bit of an unfair advantage. But stylistically, this is a great fight. Obviously, you got to go with Marc Diakiese in terms of the notable wins and obviously the UFC experience. But Rafael Alves, man, this guy is, an athletic fucking monster. And he's coming off that loss to Damir Ismagulov, a guy that I have a lot of respect for. Also submitted Alejandro Flores, who had a record of 17-2. He was under Yair Rodriguez. Obviously, Yair's on the top of this card, and he trains with him and stuff like that. And there was a lot of hype going into that guy, and he took care of business there. Look at the record opponents he's beaten. Philippe Douglas 17-4. Benitez Norris 14-2. Guillermo Miranda 16-5, not the greatest record in the world. Rudy Morales, hey, that's 4-5. But this guy, he went on a run just being really good guys. Now he does have some losses to guys that are decent. Jason Fisher 10-3. Wagner Rocha 12-4. Alexander Pinamel 13-1. This guy fought really good record people and lost to some good guys, and has gained a lot of experience. And this guy is an athletic beast, if I've ever seen one. He is just an athletic monster of a man, and doing fucking backflips. And obviously he had a bit of an issue there. Had the cancel bouts with Mike Trizano, had the cancel bout with Pat Sabatini, and he missed by 12 pounds. But he came back, fought Damir Ismagulov, and I felt like he kind of, he proved himself in there, even though he lost that fight. And Damir is, a record of 22-1, good fighter. You look at him, and that guy can probably beat the whole, at least from 10 to 15 lightweight division. I'm very high on Damir. I was very sad not to see him compete at UFC 267, but that guy's really good. You cannot doubt that guy. And he's beating guys like Thiago Moises, Joel Alvarez, good fighters like that. Damir is a very good fighter, and Rafael gave him problems, dropped him in the first round. Really, Rafael lost this fight based on his grappling IQ, and that's pretty much it. When they were standing, it wasn't as if Rafael was, leagues below Damir. He was right there with him. It was just a few fight IQ mistakes that he made, and that Damir was able to take advantage of him, and he just had the better fight IQ in there, and Rafael Alves just didn't. But this kid's a monster. He's a monster grappling wise. He's a monster. He walks you down. He forces you to shoot for takedowns, and he gets that fucking guillotine. He has really good wrestling. The guy is literally doing fucking backflips over and over again. He starts his goddamn fight with a backflip. The guy's a monster. And then Marc Diakiese, we've seen what he's accomplished in the UFC. I mean, he's fought. I mean, who's of the division. He's fought a lot of good people, and he's lost to some really good people. But I mean, he was a big hype train in the beginning. A lot of people were very excited for him. They thought he could be really good. I mean, first he had that that one crazy fight at Bisping versus Henderson too against Lewis. So I can't even say the guy's name, but he knocked him out, and then he went to a decision with Frankie Perez, and then got a knockout again in 2017 against Temu Paklan, and then he fought Drakkar Close to a split decision, which was a very close fight. I mean, obviously the wrestling came into a factor. Then he lost to Dan Hooker. I mean, that fight was a good fight while it lasted. Dan, he used a lot of wrestling. They both were wrestling in there, surprisingly, because they were two strikers going at it. But then he went for a dumb takedown in the third round and got caught in a guillotine choke. No shame to losing to Hooker. I mean, Hooker's top 10. Has given guys like Dustin Poirier hell, right? Like I've said it, we've all said it multiple times. Dan Hooker is a hell of a fighter. I know he just lost his fight in embarrassing fashion, but it is what it is. I don't want to talk about it. Then he lost to Nasser Haskarov, so that kind of was a big we see your level now. Nasrat is good. He's obviously a winning fighter in the UFC. He also lost to Dan Hooker by decision. But you don't want. I mean, you don't want to go out there and just get outboxed by Nasrat. It's just one of those things. It's like Drew Dober finished him. It kind of shows you that he's not at that top 15 level, and it's a Shark Tank. You can't be mad at. He's not bad. It's just those guys at 115, not 115, 155 pounds. It's just so fucking hard to stand out. It is so fucking hard, and it's just impossible. Y'all, it's just fucking impossible at this point. But then he fights Joe Duffy, wins a decision there. I mean, has probably his best win against Lando Venata. I mean, completely shut down Lando Venata in every facet of the game, the striking and the wrestling. But I mean, looking at Lando, he looked like a featherweight in there, and I understand the decision he made to go down to 145. I mean, you look at that fight, bro, he looked small in there. He looked really small. So I kind of get why that happened. He had so much success in the wrestling when, I mean, he's never had a lot of success in the wrestling, in terms of Marc Diakiese. So that was really shocking to see him take him down at will and stuff like that, and just have so much success there. And then his last fight against Rafael Fiziev, I mean, completely got shut down in the striking department. And they kind of had some scrambles there. But, I mean, he just got lit up to the body. The body kicks were amazing for Fiziev. And, obviously Fiziev, multiple-time Muay Thai world champion, multiple-time kickboxing world champion. I mean, it's just one of those things. Tiger Muay Thai guy, too. Really good striking. Marc Diakiese just couldn't compete with him at that point. But he stayed super tough, man. He took a lot of body kicks, so I give him a lot of credit for that. I was surprised, that fucking shit hurt. I know it hurt. But he's tough. He's a good kickboxer. In the striking, he's tough. He's never been finished, right? He's never been KO'd. I'm pretty sure. If I might be wrong, but he's never been KO'd, right? Yeah, he's only been choked out, and he's lost decisions. So yeah, he's still. I mean, he's a good fighter. He's not a bad fighter, but I mean, Rafael Alves, to me, stylistically, poses a lot of threats. We've seen Diakiese have problems with grapplers, and this is a big fight for Diakiese. Can he overcome the grappler? That's the biggest question for him in this matchup. And I mean, he can win this fight if he uses his range, and if he could stay on top of Alves, maybe he could, because he does like to wrestle. He's one of those strikers that will entertain and shoot for a takedown, almost like a Corey Sandhagen in his last fight, will entertain that grappling when really he shouldn't. It's almost like throwing it out there, just letting your opponent know, like, hey, I can still take you down, having the threat of the takedown. But I'm not against that, but I mean, it's just when you're a striker and that's just not your strong put, you might put yourself in a lot of bad positions. You might get flattened out. The guy might turn around and he just might smash on you if you really don't have good takedowns, you know. So he could play that, but and he does have a reach advantage, 73 to 68. So you know he can play around there, but with the range. But I think Alves wins this fight. I don't know. I just have a weird feeling that Alves is just gonna put it on him, is gonna take him down, and is gonna submit him. I don't know why I'm feeling it like this. Diakiese's good. I mean, he should be at a different level than this guy, but I'm having a weird feeling that you hear the things that people say about Rafael Alves from MMA Masters. You hear what his training partners are saying about him. They say he's really, really good. I mean, Colby Covington, Miguel Baeza have said, I mean, this guy is an athletic beast. If he can just figure things out, he can for sure make a run at those rankings. And I got Rafael Alves by second round sub. I just think he's gonna get his back, and he's gonna submit him in the second round. I think he's gonna have a relenting wrestling pressure, and I think he's going to put it on him. And he's big, y'all. He's a big dude. He is a big dude, and yeah, I got Rafael Alves by second round sub. That is your breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah, you know, this is a good fight. I can't wait for it. Sadly, I will not be streaming for this card, but yeah, it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. But yeah, Rafael Alves by second round sub. Go follow me on my IG. Go follow me on my Twitter. Subscribe. Go click the notification button. Share the video. Let's get this eBay Fight Prediction Nation growing. Love y'all and goodbye.